Okay, everybody, come off the blue channel. See the chat. Testing 1, 2. Coming on early, everybody. Testing 1, 2, 3. Live chat's working. Hey, Dragonfly. I'm getting things back to normal, I think. I might be in the Chrome setting, so I don't know. But it looks like it's clearer and better. Does the audio and everything sound okay? Yeah, I decided to come on early. Yeah, last week it was crazy trying to fix everything. I thought I did pretty good yesterday. Finally on the big channel. I can do the big channel, but I won't have no live chat. Maybe I'll switch off every other day. Do one without the chat and with the chat. Get all the regulars in here. Okay, told me that she's taking the day off. End of the month will probably be it. I don't think I can go to another month. I just can't believe nothing. Still no arrest out there. The market's high again, so I don't think the market's going to crash. So who knows how long this is going to be. Me, myself, and I should be in. So you're only two in the chat right now. Carol, Marilyn, Marilyn on, well, 2 Marilyns I think I have, Mary and Greg, Dave. I guess I should start then until people start coming in. I'm just go ahead and start. I know I got it set for 3. So here we go. Oh no. Get Telegram set up. Three one three six five. Okay, got Telegram set. And the first video, we'll do the 5-minute press secretary. About 6 minutes.
As to why he was deported. And he is a known gang member. ICE testified he was a gang member.
It's on the screen, but
he should stay where he is.
In chat.
You know, the defense had argued that he was a journeyman, that he was training to be an electrician. Well, the last gang member we arrested, who was a violent murderer, was also hanging wallpaper in a place called the Villages in Florida, one of the biggest retirement places in our country. So these people are living among us. One of the big cases we had, I think you're very aware of, half an hour from where we're standing, was another violent gang member living right among us in a very, very nice residential neighborhood. Wreaths on the door next door to him, children's bicycles. So that's what these gangs do. They infiltrate our country and they live among us. So to say that he was training to be an electrician does not legitimize him from being a violent gang member. And we will continue to fight for the safety of Americans and get these people out of our country to make America safe. Every victim of crime deserves to be safe. And these families who have lost loved ones to these, they are foreign adversaries, they are terrorists, and they are living among us no longer, and especially after that ruling yesterday. They better start self-reporting because we're coming after them. 2 quick questions, if we can, on this. Ask you about the ruling yesterday from the Supreme
Angela,
Court. Obviously, it allows you to move
starting early.
The Alien Enemies Act to deport these alleged gang members.
I'm getting things back to normal.
They're entitled to due process.
That's a live chat going on 2 channels.
What does it mean for your ability to deport? Yeah, sure, Peter. What the ruling says is, as from yesterday forward, what we can do is we can still deport, but they are entitled to habeas in the court of confinement, which means all of these cases will go through Texas. There will be no more class actions. It will be 2 questions asked. Do you qualify under Alien Enemies, and are you a violent gang member? Are you a member of TDA? That's what will be asked.
Let me ask you about the DHS. The administration broadly has revoked the legal status of those individuals who came in from south of the border through the CBP app that was produced by the former administration. So should those individuals who follow the rules as they existed at the time be forced to leave the country now?
Well, Peter, the rules at the time weren't fair. The rules were dangerous to Americans. I went to the border in September. I was in Yuma, Arizona, and I saw
I know
piles
where that
and
is.
piles of driver's license, IDs, passports from every country you can imagine thrown at the gate. They were handed cell phones, the CBP app, what you were discussing. They could come in, get on a phone, enter the country. If they didn't have ID, then they could identify that they were from any country they chose to be from. A Border Patrol agent told me Venezuelan men were coming in saying they were from China. Chinese people were coming in saying they were from any country, Ireland, any country they wanted to identify that they were from, and they were walking right into our country. So we have to look at all those cases because that's the safety and concern for our citizens. One other thing at the border is if you were a family, it made it much easier to come into the country. I learned a new term while I was at that border, and that was called a
Sorry,
disposable child.
got something.
Border Patrol agents were seeing children, the same child, coming in time and time again, a little boy they recognized over and over coming into our country, and they couldn't figure out why. That child had been trafficked, and he was posing as a family member. They had kidnapped a child, and when they recognized him multiple times, they realized he wasn't part of that family. So what was happening at that border was dangerous. I went to a rape crisis center. Nothing at that border was humane, and nothing protected American citizens, nor many of the people coming through it, because I firmly believe many of those women and children were trafficked.
Attorney General, 60 Minutes found that 75% of the immigrants who were sent to El Salvador did
Less than a
not have
minute.
public criminal records. Is that true?
Do you mean in our country?
The Venezuelan migrants who were sent to
Okay, well, they're not Venezuelan migrants. They're illegal aliens from Venezuela who should not have been in our country, who are committing the most violent crimes. So if you committed a murder in our country, we're going to keep you here, and we're going to seek the death penalty, and we're going to keep you in prison because our victims' families deserve that. But we don't have to charge them with every crime. We can deport them and get them out of our country and save room in our prisons because they should have never been in our country to begin with.
So you confirm they didn't commit a crime,
Thank
right?
you.
Is that what you're?
Okay, that's the latest from today. I got a video that's an hour long. It might be really good, but we'll get these other ones in first. And then when I start the big one, you guys can tell me if it's good or bad or not. So this is a update out of Ohio. No volume. No volume. Oh, that was quick. It's a short clip, you guys, but that's the Hawaii River crisis there. It wasn't much. Uh, 3 minutes on the next one.
Still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Are you listening to me, Neo?
They will fight to protect it. And right now, you're watching it happen in real time. It's not just about power. It's not just about money. It's deeper than that. These people are defending the system because if they don't, if they admit it's corrupt, then everything they've believed in, everything they fought for, everything they've built their identity around comes crashing down. Think about it. They were the ones who stood against evil. They were the ones who believed they were saving the world. And now they're seeing the truth.
Darn it. I got another one. Sorry about that one, you guys, again. Pushed the wrong button. I guess I'll see if I can replay it. I'll replay it.
The people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system, and that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system, that they will fight to protect it. Are you listening to me, Neo?
They will fight to protect it. And right now, you're watching it happen in real time. It's not just about power. It's not just about money. It's deeper than that. These people are defending the system because if they don't, if they admit it's corrupt, then everything they've believed in, everything they fought for, everything they've built their identity around comes crashing down. Think about it. They were the ones who stood against evil. They were the ones who believed they were saving the world. And now they're seeing the truth, that the government they trusted lies, that the wars they supported were never about freedom, that the people they called heroes were stealing from them the whole time. And if they admit that, if they admit that the people they mocked as conspiracy theorists were actually right, then what does that make them? So they don't admit it. They can't admit it. Instead, they lash out. They cling to a system. They defend the corruption. They burn Tesla dealerships. They attack anyone who questions the narrative. Not because they truly believe in what they're saying, but because if they let go, their entire world disintegrates. The difference between them and us, we had a choice. We took the red pill willingly. We wanted to see how deep the rabbit hole went. And yeah, it was painful. Watching the illusion shatter always is. But these people, they're not choosing. They're being force-fed the truth, and they're not ready. Some will wake up, some will resist, and some will fight to the bitter end to protect the only world they've ever known. And as much as we stand against them now, we understand them. We know what it feels like when the world we trusted falls apart. We just had the courage to let it go.
That was a good one. He has two of them I got. So here's the second one in 7 minutes.
And wake up the ones who are just not awake. So, our first advice is check your ego at the door before you listen to what I have to say. In 2016, Trump came into office. He did not come in as the president. He came in as the wartime president. He came in as commander-in-chief. He joined a force with Q. Q is military intelligence. The QAnon is just a tactic that mainstream media use to try and discredit Q. Q is real. When Trump came into office, he joined a force with Q to dismantle the Freemasons of the world, the secret society, and all their puppets. In 2017, Trump went on a worldwide capitulation tour to all the governments worldwide, had them all capitulate for their crimes. They even came to Canada. Yes, indeed, Trudeau did capitulate to Trump. If you do not believe what I am saying, just go research and look up Trump's capitulation worldwide tour. It'll show you everything that has happened. Behind the scenes, for the past 7-8 years, humanity's been in the midst of the biggest takedown in human history. Everything was dismantled behind the scenes. Everyone that you are seeing now are nothing but body doubles. Everyone who was a part of the corruption has already been taken out. You cannot tell the public the truth, as no one would believe. You have to show them. So, since 2017, we have been watching a movie playing out. Everything that we are seeing now happened behind the scenes. These are now slow drips of what has taken place behind the scenes. It's to help humanity wake up to the actual real truth of what has happened all our life. Our life has been ruled by a satanic entity. They've all been dismantled. There is no such thing as right versus left. Not one is better than the other. They are both equally corrupt. And when Trump throws the spotlight on someone, what he is doing is he is actually putting the spotlight on everyone who is corrupt. So everyone he is pulling into the spotlight, like Carney and Pierre Poilievre, it's all putting the corruption into the spotlight. He's putting them front row center because he has to allow them to show you how corrupt they are. So it helps humanity wake up even more. So when you're out there and you're thinking that the conservatives are better than the liberals, wrong. They're both equally corrupt, and they were both already taken out. This is just a movie playing out. This is the Great Awakening. You are literally watching the fall of Babylon. This is biblical. Humanity has been robbed, enslaved, indoctrinated.
2 minutes.
You know, our children's organs have been harvested. They have been trafficked. That is what the satanic agenda has always been. They've also kept humanity sick with toxic foods, toxic meds to keep us dumbed down so we could not.
Cut that one off. Sorry, you guys. Darn it.
I'm going to speak for all animals. This is just a movie playing out. Foods, toxic meds to keep us dumbed down so we could not actually see their agenda. Trump and Q have eliminated everything evil that has been going on all our life. And this has been a military worldwide operation. Start noticing the dollar because, like Anons have said, there will be a global currency crash, and it has to crash because our dollar is so evil and has been used for evil intent. It has to crash because Trump and Q are bringing in the quantum financial system, which will be backed by gold. The world will be full of abundance. We will have liberation. We will have our sovereignty. We will have the life that God intended. But the world needs to wake up to the darkness. And that is why it's called dark to light. This is biblical. This is a spiritual warfare. This is really good versus evil. God has already won. The world has been freed. Start living life like it. When God floods the earth with miracles, and I'm telling you, it's imminent, I hope everyone gets down to their knees and gives glory to God.
So what do you guys think of that one? She does good with her intel, but I don't know how they say this is a movie. I don't know how long the movie's gonna. So the market, I guess, has to crash. I got an interview one I want to play. It's only about 10-15. $16. Anyone see this yet?
for me to take, I would take it with glee. It would certainly be an honor to do so. And look, Erin, I think you're familiar with the fact I was born in Iran myself, and we escaped in 1979 with the Islamic Revolution. And so there's nobody more prepared to take on the Islamic Republic of Iran than I am at the United Nations. There's a lot of priorities, like I said, doging the UN, holding them accountable for their bias against Israel. And also something that is little talked about is the Christian genocide that's taking place in the Middle East.
Ellie Kahanam, thank you so very much for joining me. It's such a pleasure. I've been such a big fan of yours for a long, long time. So it's lovely to actually talk to you now.
Well, it's very mutual, Erin. Thank you for having me on.
Tell me, you met with a mother this morning, today, whose son was taken by an UNRWA employee. Could it get any more obvious how flawed this organization is and all of the little mini ones attached to it?
Yeah, it's kind of stunning, I think, for us to really understand the corruption, the moral rot of the United Nations, which incredibly was founded after the Holocaust with this mandate to bring the world together to do good and to do peacekeeping. And instead, it has been fully taken over by Chinese interests, by the China-Russia, Iran axis, by the global South that seems to be working very hard and in cahoots with China, Russia, and Iran to undermine Western civilization, undermine all that is good and moral in the world. And so, to what you were just talking about, Erin, is that earlier today I met with Ayelet, whose son Yonatan on October 7th was abducted from the Nova Festival by Hamas. And they have full documentation that in fact the person who abducted Yonatan was an UNRWA employee and a so-called social worker for UNRWA. This is a person who was collecting paychecks from the United Nations, and really what that means is that he was collecting paychecks from taxpayers all around the world, the United States, Australia, you name it, that's where his funding came from.
Now, I've existed in this space for a much shorter period of time than you have, and I am astounded by what I've seen thus far. And really, my focus here has only been since October 7. Yours has been well prior. How does the rest of the world, the vast majority of good, decent people, not see this organization for what it is? Because they're not even clever in being subtle about it. It's not like it's really well done. I mean, it's obvious I would have thought it should be obvious to all.
You're exactly right. It's kind of like a satire when you look at the United Nations. And the best example I can give of that is also breaking news of today. Apparently, Qatar has been named to one of the bodies of the United Nations that is so-called for women's rights. Now, just imagine if a Qatari woman wants to participate on this council or this body, she would need the permission of her husband. And so, this is the hypocrisy, the moral rot, the latent hypocrisy of the United Nations. And
yes,
and this is a reality,
working,
sadly, that
finally.
we have to face.
I came on early.
The UN is just, a hypocritical, anti-American, anti-Western institution. So, I think the question that behooves us is how do we respond to it? And I certainly have, priorities that I hope that the Trump administration will consider. I have to say, though, at the outset that President Trump has already issued an executive order in February, which demands that we do an accounting of all funding that's going to UNRWA. So that's important, and hopefully that's going to be instituted very quickly. But other things and the president has already defunded UNRWA. So the executive order is for all UN funding, and he has in addition to that, defunded UNRWA. So the other priorities should certainly be to help dismantle UNRWA completely.
I
And
know.
I want to talk a little bit when we can about the definition of a Palestinian refugee. But beyond that, the United States is underwriting 25% of the overall budget of the UN. And there's no good reason for that. I know that this is a complete waste of the American taxpayer dollar. We know that the president is working so hard to deliver for the American people all the financial benefits that he can to bring prosperity to our country. And so certainly we need to doge the United Nations. And if I can, I want to just speak for a moment about the definition of a Palestinian refugee. It's interesting to note that there is a United Nations definition of a refugee, and then there's a specific definition that applies only to Palestinians. And what the Palestinian definition does is that it passes on refugee status from generation to generation, and also even if the person has now become a citizen of a second or third country. And so what you have is situations like the father of the Hadid, the Bella and Hadid and Gigi Hadid models, right? And their father who has this apparently, mansion somewhere in Los Angeles. And so that is a man who's continue to collect from United Nations refugee status and refugee funding. And if you ask yourself the reason why is the UN doing this, well, it's to perpetuate the so-called Israeli-Palestinian conflict so that never will this refugee population ever find another home, and so that never will there be an actual peace between Israel and her Arab neighbors. And so, yes, the list of UN corruption, hypocrisy, moral rot, and decay is rather long.
So how long do countries like the US and Israel, more than anywhere else, how long do they sit there in that chamber and allow this mob to completely move away from every reason that it was created for and its entire purpose, and humiliate and treat with no respect and lie and platform terrorism and nations that wish to do us harm? When do you say enough, we don't want to play this game anymore? You look at Hungary with the ICC just saying, not today, no more, thank you, walking away. When do countries actually start to do tangible things that show the UN that we're not playing this game anymore?
Well, I think that's a terrific question. And what I would advocate for is to start to slowly, through budgeting, look at a way to eventually exit the United Nations. Because if it's no longer carrying out the mission that it was mandated with from its outset, and if it is no longer representing the best interests of the United States, if it has been hijacked by others like China and other countries, then certainly it's questionable as to whether it is in the best interest of the United States in the long run to stay within the UN. I would say the challenge is the UN Security Council and the international decisions that are made in that body, and the United States having a veto and the repercussions of what takes place in the votes that take place in that body. And so certainly it's a complicated situation, and it takes deliberation and leadership from the president to make those decisions of where he would like to see the United States in the long run. But I think there's no doubt that the American people are fed up with the corruption that has taken over the UN.
Something I think that would help greatly in this space and would be wonderful for America would be the appointment of you to the role of US ambassador to the UN. I know there's been plenty of articles, speculation. You're apparently on a short list. What can you tell me about that?
Well, what I can say is that it was really the honor and privilege of a lifetime to serve under President Trump in the first administration as his deputy special envoy to combat anti-Semitism. And certainly, there are a lot of wonderful names that I think the president might be looking at. people who I know well, who are former colleagues and friends, and there's just wonderful people I think that the president can choose from, and so he has a good problem in that. But Aaron, what we know about the United Nations is that the president will certainly, I have no doubt, pick someone who's going to be a fighter, really to take on the UN, take on the hypocrisy and the corruption, and fight for the interests of the United States, which is an absolute must in that institution.
Would you want the role? And you can tell me if you're not comfortable speaking about it in any way, but I mean, I can't think of anyone that would be better. And you're right, there are so many people who are incredibly brilliant, very well qualified. But when I look at what you have advocated for a very long time, not just recently, I can't see anyone who would be more suited or more brilliant in that space.
Well, first of all, thank you for your kind words. And certainly, again, I would be honored and privileged to serve under President Trump again. And if that is the role he would wish for me to take, I would take it with glee. It would certainly be an honor to do so. And look, Aaron, I think you're familiar with the fact I was born in Iran myself, and we escaped in 1979 with the Islamic Revolution. And so there's nobody more prepared to take on the Islamic Republic of Iran than I am in the United Nations. We have snapback sanctions that we need to start instituting against the regime very shortly. And so we certainly need somebody back in the United Nations as soon as possible to get that moving. There's a lot of priorities, like I said, doging the UN, holding them accountable for their bias against Israel. And also something that is little talked about is the Christian genocide that's taking place in the Middle East. The UN, as I said earlier, they're just completely ignoring their mandate and their charter. And if they were doing their job, then they should be working on this actual genocide that's taking place in the Middle East. And so there's a lot of work to do to really try to save and secure the Christian population in the Middle East, and so much more. So there's a lot to be done there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I shared something yesterday, the execution of 3 Christians. It's just heartbreaking, and you're right. No one seems to care if there is no opportunity to try and demonize Israel or the Jewish population when it comes to anything that's happening in the Middle East, in Africa, or all over the world. A final question. Do you have hope that your people will be freed in the short term, that the people of Iran can claim back their country? There are so many incredible people working so hard in this space. The vast majority of the population do not want the Islamic regime in charge. Is there hope? I hope you say yes.
Well, I certainly do think there's hope. And the reason I do is that if you look at the broad sweep of history, this regime falls into the same category as the Nazi regime, as the communist regime. And so you look at those regimes in the countries where they took over for a short period of time, and that was because they were anomalies in those countries, in those societies. And I think it's very easy to look at the long and really proud history of the Persian people, which became the Iranian people, and to understand that this regime is truly an anomaly. They really are destined for the dustbin of history. I personally believe that it's a question of when, not if. I know that the Iranian people want a government that represents them and who they are. And look, there's a lot of factors that certainly indicate weakness in the regime right now. Whether it's their currency, which is worth less now than it has ever been, the fact that Israel took over their ability to the Iranians' ability to withstand any kind of an airstrike right now. There's a lot of factors. The fact that Israel has decimated Iran's terror proxies, right? They've decimated Hamas, they've decimated Hezbollah. We see right now President Trump and the U.S. administration, we're giving it to
About
the
2
Houthis
minutes.
in Yemen, and
minutes.
this is also a very little reported fact. But just this weekend, we started to hear news that Iran's last terror proxy, the Kataib Hezbollah in Iraq, has started to say that they're willing to disarm. Okay, and so the Iranian regime is incredibly weak, and so yes, I have a lot of hope for the people of Iran, that one day they will have a government that represents the proud history of the Iranian people.
Ellie, they're so lucky to have you, and so is America, and I hope we talk next when you have a brand new role. Very excited.
Well, thank you. And I want to just say one thing.
Please.
You have become a shining light where there's so much darkness in the world, so much falsehood, so much lies. And I just want to thank you for all the work that you've done and that you continue to do. And I want you to know, and I know the audience, everyone who's with us today and watching, you have so many people who thank you for your bravery and your courage. And we stand with you in everything that you're doing today.
Bless you. Thank you so much. That means so much.
So yeah, she's I believe an Australia girl lady. She does good. That was a good interview. So at the 1 hour mark, I want to play an hour video and do a little bit after. And that's why I came on early. I want to play this one video. It might be good. So I got two of the TikTok ladies. Four minutes.
With President Xi. I hope it's going to stay that way. I have great respect for China, but they can't do this with just, we're going to have one shot at this, and no other president's going to do this, what I'm doing. And I'll tell you what, it's an honor to do it.
So how do we get to 104% tariff? To the math. First, you got to understand these are just the new tariffs being put on China since President Trump took office. There are already existing tariffs on certain Chinese imports coming into the United States, but I want to focus on these new ones because that's where the escalation is happening. So in February, President Trump put 10% tariffs on China. Then in March, he put another 10% tariff on China. These two, he said, were because of fentanyl. Then last week, you remember that big Rose Garden ceremony? President Trump announced the so-called kind reciprocal tariffs. Remember that big chart? Well, on that chart, China was hit with 34% tariffs. And late last week, China saw that number and said, hey, we're going to slap the United States with 34% tariffs on American goods going into China. Well, last night, President Trump said, hey, China, I see that you retaliated against my 34% tariff. So unless you pull those back, I'm going to add another 50% to your tariffs. Now, let's just do the simple math. You add that all together. That's how you get to 104% tariffs. And as I've reported repeatedly, you and me, the consumer, is the one who pays that tariff. China does not pay that amount. The person who imports the item into the United States pays that amount. And do you think American importers are just going to eat that amount of cost? No. Maybe they'll pay for some of it, but they certainly will not swallow all 104%. That increased cost is obviously going to be passed on to you. Look, I know you're going to ask, well, how much does China tariff U.S. imports going into their country? That answer is very difficult to quantify because before this new round of tariffs from Trump, every single item that we imported from China had sort of a different tariff percentage. Remember that 67% number the president put on that big chart last week that China was charging American imports? Well, according to the Trump administration, that is not the tariff percentage China is charging U.S. imports. What you saw on that chart was a totally different thing. It wasn't tariffs. It was based on trade deficits. And for the record, President Biden also put tariffs on China too. He not only kept the tariffs that Trump imposed on China during his first term, but then he added very strategic tariffs on China. But his were targeted on things like electric vehicles, advanced batteries, steel, aluminum, medical equipment. And they didn't all just hit at once. They were phased in over 3 years. So under Biden, the tariffs were not like this massive sticker shock all at one time, like what we're seeing now. So what's going to happen this week? Well, tomorrow, Wednesday, and Thursday are going to be critical days. If China does not pull back its 34% tariff by tomorrow, starting on Wednesday, the United States is going to add that 50% tariff. Then also on Wednesday, the original 34% tariff on China and reciprocal tariffs on all those other countries will take effect. And then on Thursday, that's the day China will hit the U.S. imports with 34% tariffs. The White House claims leaders of several countries have already called President Trump to try and negotiate their tariffs down. China did not. So is President Trump willing to negotiate? Well, he said no, then he said maybe. Today, he said he's not looking to pause his tariff plan. In the Oval Office this afternoon, Trump said two things can be true at the same time. He says it's possible tariffs will be permanent, and it's also possible that he'll negotiate. I know those two things contradict each other, but that's what he said. Bottom line here, I think we're just going to have to buckle up for another bumpy week.
Yeah, and I'm just like, okay, so how does a 61-year-old guy run circles around guys?
Okay, that's another good one from her. I got one more from her. The other one's not coming out as much as she is. So yeah, this is the second one. Three minutes.
In lower courts. It's important to understand the justices did not rule on whether or not Trump is right to categorize these Venezuelan migrants here in the United States as eligible for deportation under the Alien Enemies Act. The justices' ruling was more technical. They said the plaintiffs, the migrants, were wrong to challenge their detention in Washington, D.C. The Supreme Court said they should have challenged their detention in Texas, where they're being held. But in their ruling tonight, the justices said the migrants weren't the only ones who got it wrong. All 9 justices agreed in today's ruling that the Trump administration is sort of wrong too. Trump and his Department of Justice have been arguing that the courts have no power to review anything the president does when it comes to these deportations under the Alien Enemies Act, because in their eyes, it's all a national security concern. The Supreme Court today said, wrong. Although judicial review under the Alien Enemies Act is limited, we have held that an individual subject to detention and removal under the statute is entitled to judicial review as to questions of interpretation and constitutionality of the act, as well as whether he or she is in fact an alien enemy 14 years of age or older. The Supreme Court says absolutely every one of these migrants that the Trump administration rounds up using the Alien Enemies Act from here on out must get due process to challenge their detention and possible deportation. And on top of that, the government must give migrants who are targets of possible removal under the Alien Enemies Act notice, so they have an opportunity to challenge that removal in court. The only question, as the Supreme Court sees it, is which court should they file their challenge? Today, the justices determined that challenge petition should be in the district where the migrant is currently being confined. So what's going to happen now? Well, the president seems very excited about this ruling. He posted to his social media account tonight saying the Supreme Court has upheld the rule of law in our nation by allowing a president, whoever that may be, to be able to secure our borders and protect our families and our country itself. A great day for justice in America. But this isn't over. The courts still have not determined whether Trump was right to categorize these Venezuelans as eligible for deportation, nor have they determined whether Trump has the right to even use the Alien Enemies Act to justify their removal. Those questions are still moving through the lower courts. But in the meantime, now that the temporary block has been lifted, you can expect the Trump administration to continue with more roundups and possible deportations under the 1798 Alien Enemies Act. And if you want to read this ruling from the Supreme Court tonight, I will email it out to you in my Facts HQ email, so make sure you sign yourself up.
You can save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Whoa! Very funny, Limu.
Okay, so those two good ones from her today, from yesterday. So I got two more, and I'm going to play that hour video. I got a 4-minute one and a 3-minute one. I'll stop it in a minute.
There were
Will we
membranes
play
of
this
light
one?
placed at the entryway to your sacred mind and to your sacred heart. There was as a membrane of light surrounding your third eye, your inner sight. When your higher self determines it is time for your third eye to open, it will be as if you received a surge of sacred energy upon your brow. These specialized frequencies open the seed crystals of light within the pineal gland, which initiates the ability for extrasensory perception, clairvoyance. Most of you have heard of the ring pass knot, a thin membrane of light radiation which encircled the planet. It was a restrictive quarantine of sorts, which was gradually dissolved from the Earth's atmosphere, thereby allowing the cosmic information floodgates to be flung open so that the next level of cosmic wisdom could pour forth to a select group of world servers, cosmic messengers. For many lifetimes, every one of these brave souls has been in an intense preparatory stage in the higher realms. This intense training period was necessary in order to bring forth the advanced teachings in an accurate, orderly, and timely method. It is cosmic law that you must integrate and experience each level of new truth in order to move to the next, more advanced level. It is a unique and specialized path of initiation. The ascended masters of the Cosmic Council of Light do not openly teach in public. They work entirely through their disciples and initiates, mostly by conveying the inspired thought forms of higher wisdom teachings. Initiates work on the mental levels, also mostly behind the scenes. However, a select group is actively teaching out in the world, for inspiring others to become world servers is their most important task. There is a light epidemic, whereby every person on earth is being bombarded by the refined frequencies of God light. However, each person can only absorb and integrate the frequencies of light that their physical vessels can accommodate. You must be able to metabolize the higher frequency God light in order to benefit from it and make use of it. Those of you who have steadfastly followed the path that was designed for you are quickly coming to a state of completion for the particular stage of enlightenment you have been in for the past 10 years. When you attain true self-mastery, your thoughts and words will become harmless, for criticism and negativity cannot dwell in the light of love and truth. Service is an intrinsic impulse of the soul self, just as desire is the major impulse of the ego. Your transition from the impulses or nudgings of the emotional, ego-desire body to the inspirational thoughts of the soul and the higher self has mostly been accomplished. Your focus has moved toward group consciousness and how to serve humanity. You are also well on your way in the transition from I, me, my selfish interests to higher frequency. We, our state of unity consciousness. The intuitive thoughts you receive and the guidance from your guides, angelic helpers, and higher self become stronger as you integrate more pure God's light. Your personal reality expands from a small world focus of a me, my state of consciousness, to an expanded consciousness which includes the world, the solar system, and beyond. No longer do you respond to painful events in life as fated or punishment, for you realize they are challenges and opportunities for growth. You are swiftly moving out of the energy vortex, or collective consciousness band of thought forms, created by humanity, which is a vortex of violent activity.
All right, I thought that was kind of interesting. So we'll go ahead and go to that
They
video.
wonder why you have not fallen. They question.
53, 53 minutes, guys.
The planets are aligning. The stars are shining brighter than ever.
Lori,
And something
this is another one
extraordinary
I think you
is
might be
happening
interested.
above us. This week's energy may cause things to change in ways you never imagined. And if you're not ready, you may be shocked in ways you definitely don't want. Before we go any further, I want you to pause, look up at the sky, take a deep breath, and embrace this energy. Now, hit the like button, subscribe so we can reach 60,000, and leave a comment that says, yes, I'm in this. By doing so, you are sending a message to the universe that you are ready for this energy shift. Let's ride this wave together. If you want to support this channel, you can support us by hitting the join button. Jupiter at its brightest will change everything. Tonight, something special is going to shine in the sky. Jupiter at its brightest. This happens because Jupiter is in the opposite direction. A fancy way of saying it's exactly opposite the sun from where we stand on Earth. And you have a chance to embrace its energy. Imagine the sun on one side, Earth in the middle, and Jupiter shining proudly on the other. This cosmic setup makes tonight the best time to see Jupiter at its best. Big, bold, and full of a vibe that feels almost magical, as if it's humming with some deep, universe-shaking energy. When the sun says goodbye in the west, Jupiter says hello from the east, looming as the day winds down. This is no rush. This giant planet will continue to move throughout the night, reaching its highest point in the sky around 1 a.m. No matter where you are, this is your golden time to see it shining brightly, as if it's there to tell you something important. There's no need to rush. It's there whenever you're ready to see it. You don't even need any equipment to enjoy it. Step outside, and Jupiter will immediately catch your eye. It's the brightest planet after the moon, a steady, shining point that demands attention. But if you have binoculars or a telescope, oh boy, you're in for a spectacular experience. You'll see Jupiter's famous bars, those swirling bands of clouds that make it look like a painted masterpiece. And then there are its 4 largest moons, Io, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto, as tiny glowing specks next to it. It's like a little family portrait, floating in space, moving and changing as you look. Tonight, Jupiter is cool in Virgo, and it has a companion, the bright star Spica. They're just a few degrees apart, close enough to form a beautiful pair in the sky. Imagine that, a dazzling planet and a shining star, right next to each other, as if they're putting on a show, just for you. It's a sight that makes you stop and look, feel the quiet thrill of being part of something bigger. This isn't just a random night, it has a special energy. Some might call it spiritual, like the universe is whispering secrets through Jupiter's glow. Whether you believe it or not, there's no denying that this is a moment that feels alive, like the air is buzzing with possibilities. It's a perfect excuse to slow down, look up, and let your mind wonder about what's out there. If you've ever thought about looking at the stars but never got around to doing it, tonight is the invitation for you. You don't need to be an expert or have fancy gear, just a curious heart and a desire to wonder. Maybe grab a cozy jacket, step out on your porch, or find a spot where the city lights won't steal the show. Jupiter is so bright you can see it almost anywhere, and it's ready to remind you just how wild and beautiful our cosmic neighborhood is. This opposition only happens once a year, and tonight is its peak. Jupiter is as close and bright as it can be. It's not just a planet, it's a story, a giant ball of gas and mystery that's been swirling out there forever. So take a minute or an hour and let it sink in. Share it with someone or keep it to yourself. Either way, this is a night that will stay with you. Look up, feel the awe, and let Jupiter's brightness spark something inside you. The universe is waiting.
Did you know that Amazon has a $50 million fund that they have to pay out every month? And here's how you can get a cut of it. My name is Charlotte Mickelson, and we help everyday people grow.
April 8th. Mercury's subtle glow in twilight. Energy surge. Tonight, April 8th, 2025, there's a subtle but stunning treat waiting in the sky. Mercury's gentle glow in the twilight. Just after the sun sets, head outside and cast your eyes toward the western horizon. This little planet, often shy and hard to spot, is putting on a quiet show that's worth the effort. It's not loud or flashy like some cosmic events, but its understated beauty has a charm all its own. And tonight, it's ready to catch your attention. Mercury hit its farthest point from the sun last week, and now it's hanging out in the evening glow, still shining with a special kind of energy. Some might say it's a night that feels alive, like it's nudging you to pause, tune in, and trust your gut a little more. Whether you're after a moment of calm or just curious about the sky, this is a perfect chance to shake things up and look at the world a bit differently. About 30 minutes after sunset, find a spot with a clear view west. Look low. Mercury will be sitting about 9 degrees above the horizon, roughly the width of your fist, held at arm's length. It'll look like a pale golden speck, glowing softly against the fading light. Don't wait too long, though. It won't stick around as the sky darkens. Timing is everything with this elusive planet, and tonight's your window to catch it. Mercury's tricky to see most of the time. It loves hiding in the sun's bright glare. But tonight, the conditions are just right, making it one of the best opportunities of the year to spot it. If you're in a city with lots of lights or dealing with hazy skies, grab some binoculars to give yourself an edge. Even a basic pair will help that golden dot pop out from the twilight, turning a faint glimmer into something you can't miss. For anyone with binoculars or a small telescope, there's an extra surprise. Mercury's showing off a thin crescent shape right now, with just 16% of it lit up. It's like a tiny, delicate sliver hanging in space, almost fragile looking. That little curve is a reminder of how dynamic the sky is, with planets shifting and changing, just like the moon does. It's a small detail, but it makes the moment feel personal, like you're in on a secret. This planet's got a reputation for being hard to pin down, and that's part of its magic. Mercury is the closest world to the sun, zipping around it in a speedy 88 days, way faster than our leisurely 365-day trip. It's small, scrappy, and often overlooked. But when you do catch it, there's a thrill in knowing you've spotted something so elusive. Tonight, it's like Mercury's inviting you to join a quiet club of sky watchers who've learned to appreciate its sneaky charm. If you've never seen Mercury before, this is your moment. You don't need to be an expert or have fancy equipment, just a little patience and a willingness to look. Step outside, maybe with a friend or a warm drink, and let the twilight guide you. It's not about bright fireworks or loud fanfare. It's about the satisfaction of finding something rare and beautiful in the everyday. Mercury's glow might be soft, but it's got a pull that sharpens your senses and leaves you feeling connected to the vastness out there. So take a peek, soak it in, and let this mysterious wanderer surprise you tonight. April 9th, Sirius and the hidden star below it. On the evening of April 9th, 2025, something special is stirring in the night sky, and it's calling you to look up. Around 9 p.m., turn your gaze to the southwestern horizon, and you'll spot Sirius, the brightest star we can see from Earth, not counting the sun, of course. This dazzling blue-white gem, part of the constellation Canis Major, cuts through city lights and hazy skies like a beacon. Known as the Dog Star, Sirius has captured hearts and stories for centuries, and tonight it's shining with an energy that feels almost electric, like a whisper of big changes just around the corner, ready to spark something deep inside you. But Sirius isn't the only treasure up there tonight. Just 4 degrees south of it, about the width of 2 fingers held at arm's length, lies a hidden wonder called M41, an open star cluster that's easy to miss but impossible to forget once you find it. In most urban areas, M41 stays invisible to the naked eye, blending into the background. But grab a pair of binoculars or a small telescope, and it comes alive. A sparkling collection of dozens of stars, some bold, some faint, scattered like a cosmic handful of glitter. It's like stumbling across a secret snow globe tucked beneath Sirius's glow, quiet but breathtaking. What makes this pair so
I think I just won my taxes.
Oh yeah?
I just switched from TurboTax to H&R Block. It was so easy.
You mean I don't have to go back?
special is how they show off the sky's layers.
41
Sirius is the
41.
loud, confident star stealing the spotlight, while M41 is the shy surprise waiting for those who look a little closer. Together, they're a reminder that even the most familiar sights can hold new magic if you take a moment to explore. Tonight's view feels like an invitation to slow down, breathe, and let the universe unfold its stories in front of you. You don't need to be a stargazing pro to enjoy this. Just a bit of curiosity and a cozy spot to settle in. Around 9 p.m., find a place where the southwestern sky is clear, maybe your backyard or a nearby park. Sirius is impossible to miss. It's the brightest thing out there, twinkling with a steady, piercing light. Once you've locked onto it, slide your gaze or binoculars just a smidge south to hunt for M41. When you spot that soft, starry glow, it's like the skies sharing a little gift, something that feels personal and profound. This moment isn't just about pretty lights. It's got a vibe that might stir something in you. Some say nights like this carry a spiritual weight, like the stars are nudging you toward a shift in how you see the world. Whether that resonates or not, there's no denying the quiet power of standing under a sky so vast, watching points of light that have burned for ages. It's the kind of thing that makes you feel small, but connected, like you're part of something timeless. Sirius and M41 aren't going anywhere fast, but tonight's setup is perfect for catching them at their best. Canis Major is riding high enough to enjoy early in the evening, and the contrast between Sirius's bold shine and M41's delicate sparkle is pure magic. So grab a blanket, maybe a friend or two, and let yourself get lost in the view. It's not every night you get to see a star and its hidden companion team up to steal your breath. Look up, soak in the wonder, and let the sky work its quiet, transformative charm on you. April 10th. Full moon brightens the night. On the night of April 10th, 2025, get ready for a sky that's practically buzzing with energy. The full moon is here, lighting up everything in its path. This isn't just any full moon. It hits its peak just after midnight on April 11th, but it'll look big, round, and dazzling all night long. Some say this one's brimming with a vibe of abundance, like the universe is rolling out a cosmic welcome mat. Whether you feel that spiritual spark or not, there's no denying this moon is about to steal the show. As the sun dips below the horizon, the moon will rise in the east, perfectly timed to take over the night. It'll climb higher and higher, reaching its prime spot around 1 a.m. Your local time. Picture this: You step outside, and there it is, glowing so bright, it feels like daytime's sneaking back. It's hanging out in the constellation Virgo, and it's got some cool company. Jupiter and the star Spica are nearby, making the sky look like a celestial masterpiece painted just for you. This full moon's light is so strong it might hide the fainter stars, but that's part of its charm. It floods the world below with a silvery glow, turning trees, hills, and even your backyard into something straight out of a dream. Shadows stretch long and soft under its watch. Moon shadows, they call them, and they give everything an eerie, magical vibe. If you love snapping photos at night or just want a quiet stroll, tonight's the perfect excuse to soak it all in. Don't bother hunting for distant galaxies with a telescope tonight. The moon's brilliance will wash them out, but point that lens at the moon itself, and you're in for a treat. You'll see craters carved out by ancient impacts, jagged ridges, and huge dark patches called lunar seas, old lava flows frozen in time. It's like getting a front row seat to a piece of history written in rock, all lit up for you to explore. Even binoculars will show off these details if you've got them handy. The moon's got a rhythm to it, a steady pulse that's been guiding nights like this forever. Tonight, it's not just bright, it's a quiet force, filling the air with a sense of calm and wonder. Whether you're gazing from a city balcony or a wide open field, it's there, constant and comforting. It's the kind of sight that makes you pause, take a deep breath, and feel the world slow down for a minute. This isn't a night for rushing around. It's for savoring. Maybe grab a blanket and find a spot to sit, or take a walk and let the moonlight guide your steps. The way it plays with Jupiter and Spica nearby adds an extra layer of beauty, like the skies.
I almost accepted the dark circles, sagging skin, and fine lines, until a 15-second routine changed everything. Nobody believes I'm 66 anymore.
Putting on a little trio performance. You don't need to know astronomy to enjoy it. All it takes
33
is a
minutes,
moment to
guys,
look up
33.
and let yourself get lost in the glow. April 10th is one of those nights where nature's showing off its quiet power. The full moon doesn't shout, it just shines, steady and strong, reminding you how connected everything is. So take it in, whether you're snapping pics, wandering under its light, or just staring up in awe. This is your chance to feel the magic of a night ruled by the moon. A simple, beautiful gift from the universe. April 11th. Venus shines in the morning twilight. On April 11th, 2025, the early morning sky is serving up something extraordinary. Venus glowing like a beacon in the twilight. This isn't just a pretty light show. It's got a vibe that feels almost electric, like it's carrying a burst of energy that could nudge your life in a new direction. Astrologers might be buzzing about its power, but you don't need to know the stars' secrets to feel the lift it brings. It's a perfect reason to roll out of bed a little earlier and start your day with something magical. Picture this. It's around 5:30 to 6 a.m. The world's still quiet, and you step outside to look east. There's Venus, rising more than an hour before the sun, hanging about 10 degrees above the horizon, roughly the width of your fist if you hold it up. It's shining at a stunning magnitude, -4.6, which is science speak for crazy bright. After the moon, it's the most dazzling thing up there, a piercing white dot that cuts through the soft glow of dawn. You won't need a map or an app, just glance east, and it'll grab your attention like a cosmic spotlight. Venus has earned its nickname, the morning star, for a reason. Even as the sky starts to lighten, its glow doesn't fade. It's like a lantern hanging in the air, steady and strong. There's something peaceful about catching it in those quiet pre-dawn moments, a little jolt of awe to kick off your day. Whether you're sipping coffee on the porch or just stealing a quick peek before the rush begins, it's a sight that settles into your soul. If you've got a telescope or even decent binoculars, Venus has an extra surprise in store. Right now, it's showing off a delicate crescent shape, with just 10% of it lit up by the sun. It's huge though, over 50 arc-seconds wide, which means it looks way bigger than most stars or planets you'd spot. That crescent is like the moon's, thin and graceful, and it's a cool way to see how Venus dances around the sun in its own orbit. Watching it feels like catching a live glimpse of the solar system in action. This isn't one of those subtle sky events you have to squint for. Venus is bold, bright, and impossible to miss. It's been climbing higher each morning, and on April 11th, it's at its peak as a dawn showstopper. The way it hangs there, glowing against the soft colors of twilight, it's like the universe is handing you a little gift to start your day. No fancy equipment needed. Your eyes alone will do the trick, though a closer look only makes it sweeter. There's a stillness to this moment that's hard to beat. Before the world wakes up, before the noise kicks in, it's just you and Venus sharing a quiet hello. Some might say it's more than just a planet, that its light carries a spark to shake up your energy and set you on a fresh path. Whether you buy that or not, it's hard to argue with the calm wonder it brings. So set that alarm, step outside, and let Venus greet you with its brilliance. It's a simple, stunning reminder of how much beauty's waiting up there, ready to brighten your morning and maybe even your whole outlook. April 12th, Mars moves across the evening sky. As dusk settles in on April 12th, 2025, the western sky welcomes a quiet but captivating guest, Mars, the red planet. It's not the loud, flashy type like Venus or Jupiter, but it's got a charm all its own, glowing with a soft, reddish tint at magnitude 1.5. About an hour after sunset, step outside and look west. Mars will be sitting about 20 degrees above the horizon, roughly 2 fist widths if you hold your hand out. It's high enough to spot easily, whether you're just using your eyes or peeking through binoculars, and it's ready to add a little magic to your evening. Tonight, Mars is on the move, sliding from the constellation Aries into Taurus. This shift might sound small, but it's a cool reminder that the sky isn't just a still picture. Planets are wandering, tracing their paths against the backdrop of stars. If you know your way around Taurus, look for Mars near the V-shaped Hyades cluster and the bright orange star Aldebaran. They make a striking trio, with Mars adding its rusty glow to the mix. It's like watching a slow, cosmic dance unfold right above you.
5 words you pronounce wrong 2 years before your brain starts shutting down. Dementia is now.
Mars isn't huge or dazzling right now. Through a telescope, its disk is just about 4 arc-seconds wide, so it looks pretty tiny. But don't let that fool you. Its presence carries weight. In old stories, Mars was the symbol of action, courage, and pushing forward, and there's something about seeing it tonight that feels like a gentle nudge. It's a little light in the sky saying, keep going, even if the goal feels far off. That subtle red spark can stir up a quiet kind of grit in you, perfect for a night of reflection. You don't need to be a sky expert to enjoy this, just a willingness to look up. About an hour after the sun dips below the horizon, Mars will be waiting, easy to find and soothing to watch. Its reddish hue stands out against the deepening blue of dusk, a color that's been tied to the planet's dusty, iron-rich surface for as long as we've named it. It's not about brightness tonight. It's about the steady, understated way Mars holds its place, like a friend who doesn't need to shout to get your attention. This movement into Taurus is part of Mars's bigger journey, one you can follow over the next few nights if you're curious. It's not racing across the sky. It's more of a slow, deliberate stroll, showing off how planets shift while the stars stay put. That contrast is a little mind-blowing when you think about it. The sky looks calm, but it's alive with motion, and Mars is proof of that, inching along night by night. So tonight, take a moment to find it. Step onto your porch, wander to a park, or just lean out a window. Mars is there, glowing softly in the west. Let its light sink in, a small but meaningful reminder of resilience and progress. It's not about grand gestures. It's about the quiet determination to keep moving, step by step. Whether you're chasing a dream or just getting through the day, Mars is up there, shining with a subtle strength that's all its own. Look up, spot that red glimmer, and let it inspire you to carry on with your own steady pace. April 13th, Saturn's majestic rise and the beauty of the morning sky. On April 13th, 2025, the early morning sky is putting on a show you won't want to miss. Saturn stepping into the spotlight. If you're up for a little late night or early morning adventure, this ringed beauty starts rising just before 1 a.m., your local time. It'll climb higher as the hours tick by. And by the time the first hints of dawn creep in, Saturn will be about 30 degrees up in the south. Think 3 fist widths if you hold your hand out. It's perfectly placed, easy to spot, and ready to wow anyone who glances its way. Saturn's glow is steady and calm, shining at magnitude 0.3, which makes it stand out against the twinkling stars of Sagittarius. It's not the brightest thing up there, but it doesn't need to be. Its real magic is in those famous rings. Even from millions of miles away, Saturn has a quiet, majestic vibe that feels like it's been waiting patiently for you to notice. It's the kind of sight that makes you stop and soak in the moment, a little reminder of how vast and incredible our universe is. If you've got a telescope or can borrow one, this is your night to see Saturn up close. Its disk will look about 17 arcseconds wide, a creamy golden dot floating in space. But the real star of the show, those rings stretching 39 arcseconds across, tilted just right to show off their full glory. They're like a cosmic halo, delicate yet bold, and seeing them for yourself feels like peeking into a postcard from the solar system. It's a bucket list moment, simple as that. Even without a telescope, binoculars will give you a treat. Saturn's hanging out near some cosmic neighbors in Sagittarius, star clusters M21 and M23, plus the Lagoon, M8, and Trifid, M20 nebulae. These aren't as sharp as Saturn's rings, but they add a fuzzy, glowing backdrop that's pure eye candy. It's like the sky's throwing a little party, mixing the crisp planet with these soft, starry clouds. Together, they create a scene that's equal parts peaceful and mind-blowing. There's something about Saturn that feels grounding. In old tales, it's tied to patience and sticking with it. And tonight, its steady rise might just nudge you to slow down and trust your own pace. It's been spinning out there for billions of years, rings and all, and watching it climb the sky can feel like a quiet boost, like the universe is saying, "You've got this, just keep going." It's a gentle push to savor the journey, not just the finish line. This morning isn't just about pretty lights. It's a chance to connect with something.
Here's the difference between Mudwater and mushroom coffee. I'm Matt, food scientist and head of R&D at Mudwater.
something bigger. The way Saturn shares the stage with those clusters and nebulae is a reminder that everything's linked, moving together in this huge cosmic dance. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day rush, but a moment with Saturn can pull you back, letting you feel present and part of it all. It's like the skies offering a little wisdom, wrapped in a stunning view. So, set that alarm or stay up late. April 13th is your shot to catch Saturn at its best. Whether you're gazing through a lens or just taking it in with your own eyes, it's a sight that sticks with you. Grab a warm drink, find a spot with a clear southern view, and let the morning twilight frame this planetary gem. It's not loud or showy, it's quiet, steady, and beautiful in a way that feels personal. Stay open, stay curious, and let Saturn's rise remind you that every step, every moment, is building towards something amazing. The universe is rooting for you, one ringed wonder at a time. Mercury's subtle glow in twilight. As the sun dips below the horizon on April 8th, 2025, there's a quiet little spectacle waiting for you in the western sky. Mercury's subtle glow in the twilight. This isn't one of those loud, in-your-face sky events. It's more like a soft whisper, a gentle nudge to look up and notice something special. Mercury, the smallest planet and the sun's closest neighbor, is putting on a delicate show that's easy to miss if you're not paying attention. But if you catch it, it's the kind of moment that feels like a secret shared just with you. About 30 minutes after sunset, head outside and turn your eyes west. Look low. Mercury will be hovering about 9 degrees above the horizon, roughly the width of your fist if you hold it out at arm's length. It's not blazing like Venus or Jupiter. Instead, it's a pale golden dot, glowing softly against the fading colors of dusk. Last week, it stretched as far from the sun as it gets, and now it's lingering in that sweet spot of evening twilight, refusing to fade away just yet. It's subtle, sure, but there's a quiet pull to it that's hard to ignore. This little planet has a way of standing out, despite its size. Mercury's tricky to spot most of the time. It loves to hide in the sun's glare, but tonight, it's giving you a rare chance to say hello. That golden glimmer might not light up the whole sky, but it's got a charm that feels personal. Some say moments like this carry a vibe, like the universe is tapping you on the shoulder, stirring something inside. Whether it's a hunch or just a shiver of wonder, it's as if the sky's dropping hints, asking you to listen a little closer. You don't need fancy gear to enjoy this, just your eyes and a clear view west. Find a spot where buildings or trees don't block the horizon. A park, a hill, or even your backyard might do the trick. Mercury's glow is faint enough that city lights or haze could wash it out, so the darker the spot, the better. If you've got binoculars, they'll make that golden dot pop even more, turning a speck into something you can really feel connected to. It's a small effort for a big reward. There's something cool about catching Mercury in action. It zips around the sun in just 88 days, way faster than Earth's lazy 365-day stroll. That speed makes it a bit of a cosmic tease. Here 1 minute, gone the next. Tonight, though, it's hanging out long enough for you to appreciate it, a fleeting visitor in the twilight. That golden hue comes from sunlight bouncing off its rocky surface, and knowing that makes the sight feel a little more real, like you're peeking at a distant world going about its day. This isn't about bright fireworks or a sky full of drama.
18 minutes.
It's about the quiet beauty of something rare. Mercury's glow might not shout, but it's got a pull that can settle into your bones. Maybe it's the way it sits there, steady in the fading light, or maybe it's that strange little feeling it sparks, like the universe is winking at you. Either way, it's a chance to pause, breathe, and let the moment sink in. So tonight, take a few minutes to step outside after sunset. Look for that pale gold dot low in the west and let it draw you in. It's not just a planet, it's a tiny piece of the cosmos showing off, offering a slice of wonder to anyone willing to look. Whether you feel those mysterious stirrings or just enjoy the view, Mercury's subtle twilight glow is a gift worth unwrapping. The universe is talking. All you have to do is watch. As night settles in on April 9th, 2025, step outside around 9 p.m. and cast your gaze toward the southwest sky. There, you'll spot Sirius, the brightest star visible from Earth, twinkling like a celestial beacon. This isn't just a beautiful sight. It's a moment that could feel deeply meaningful, as if the universe is reaching out to you personally. People have long looked to the stars for inspiration, and Sirius, with its dazzling glow, has a way of capturing attention and sparking wonder. Imagine standing under the vast sky, the air cool and quiet, as Sirius shines down. Some believe this star carries a special kind of energy, not the kind you'd measure with a gadget, but something more subtle, almost like a whisper to your soul. It's as if its light could stir something deep within you, awakening parts of yourself you didn't even know were there. Think of it like a gentle nudge from nature, encouraging you to feel more connected to the world around you. When you head to bed after watching Sirius, don't be surprised if your dreams take on a unique flavor. You might find yourself drifting through scenes tinged with shadows, not pitch black, but a soft, mysterious half-light. These dreams could feel like a journey, blending the familiar with the unknown, as if your mind is processing something bigger than the everyday. It's not about fear or confusion. It's more like stepping into a quiet, reflective space where things feel both strange and oddly comforting. This experience ties into how humans have always found meaning in the stars. Sirius, part of the Canis Major constellation, has been revered across cultures, by ancient Egyptians as a sign of renewal, by sailors as a guide. On April 9th, its position in the southwest sky makes it easy to find, especially as the evening deepens. You don't need a telescope or fancy equipment, just your eyes and a moment to pause. It's a simple act, but one that might leave you feeling a little more in tune with the rhythms of the cosmos. The idea of DNA codes being activated might sound mystical, but you can think of it as a metaphor for waking up your curiosity or creativity. Staring at a star like Sirius can make you ponder life's mysteries, where we come from, what's out there, how it all fits together. It's not about literal changes in your body, but more about a shift in how you see things, a spark that lights up your thoughts or feelings in a fresh way. If you're someone who enjoys nature's quiet moments, this could be a perfect excuse to step outside and breathe in the night. Picture the scene: the day winding down, the sky stretching wide, and Sirius glowing steadily as other stars begin to peek out. It's a chance to slow down, away from screens and noise, and just let yourself be present. You might feel a sense of calm, or maybe a flicker of excitement, like you're part of something vast and ancient. So, on April 9th, give it a try. Around 9 p.m., head to a spot where you can see the southwest horizon, maybe your backyard, a park, or even a window with a good view. Look for that brilliant point of light, brighter than the rest, and let it sink in. Whether you feel a spiritual lift, a creative boost, or just enjoy a peaceful moment. It's a small adventure worth having. And when you close your eyes that night, don't be surprised if the semi-darkness of your dreams feels like a gentle echo of the star you met. On April 10th, 2025, the night sky will light up with the glow of a full moon, and it's set to be something special. There's a certain magic to a full moon. It's not just a pretty sight, but a moment that feels alive with possibility. This time, the energy swirling around it might shake things up in your world, nudging you towards something new and exciting. It's like the universe is turning up the volume, inviting you to pay attention and see what unfolds. Picture yourself stepping outside that evening, the air crisp and the moon hanging round and bright overhead. Full moons have a reputation for stirring emotions and sparking change, and this one could feel like a gentle push forward. Maybe it's a chance to let go of something old, a habit, a worry, or to embrace a fresh start. It's not about forcing anything. It's more like the moon's glow is lighting a path you didn't notice before, encouraging you to take a step. This April 10th full moon isn't just another night. It's a moment that could carry a deeper meaning for you. Some see full moons as times of completion, when things you've been working toward finally click into place. Others feel it's a window for reflection, a chance to sit with your thoughts and listen to what's stirring inside. Whatever your style, this one might feel like it's speaking to you personally, offering a quiet boost to your spirit. Think of it as an auspicious occasion, a little gift from the cosmos. You don't need to be an expert in astrology or spirituality to enjoy it. Just an
The meniscus in your knee. It's this cartilage cushion that's right here, and it makes a difference between
open heart and a willingness to soak in the moment. Maybe you'll feel inspired to set a goal, mend a relationship, or simply appreciate where you are right now. The full moon's light has a way of making everything feel a bit clearer, like it's shining a spotlight on what matters most. There's something timeless about standing under a full moon too. People have been doing it for centuries, celebrating, dreaming, or just marveling at the sky. On April 10th, you can join that tradition in your own way. Find a cozy spot, your porch, a hill, or even a window, and let the moonlight wash over you. It's a chance to pause, breathe, and feel connected to something bigger than the daily grind. This full moon's extraordinary energy might also spark your imagination. You could find yourself daydreaming more vividly or feeling a sudden urge to create, whether that's writing, drawing, or planning something new. It's as if the brightness in the sky flips a switch in your mind, waking up ideas that have been quietly waiting. Even if you're not the artsy type, you might notice a shift in how you see the world, a little more color or depth in the everyday. And don't be surprised if the night feels charged with a quiet intensity. Full moons often amplify what's already there: joys, hopes, even restless thoughts. This one, on April 10th, could bring profound changes, not in a loud, dramatic way, but in a soft unraveling of something meaningful. It's an invitation to trust the flow, to lean into whatever comes up, and to see where it takes you. So, mark the date and make a plan to greet the moon that night. Whether you watch alone or with someone special, let it be your moment. Feel the energy, embrace the possibilities, and let this full moon weave its subtle magic into your life. It's a night that could leave you smiling, wondering, or simply feeling a little more alive. On April 12th, 2025, as the day fades into evening, take a moment to glance at the western sky. That's where Mars will make its quiet entrance, slipping into view, as dusk settles in. It won't shout for attention like a blazing sunset, but its steady, reddish glow will catch your eye if you're looking. There's something special about this moment, a subtle arrival that feels like it's carrying a message just for you. If you're open to it, imagine the scene. The sky softening into deeper hues, the first stars blinking awake, and there's Mars, glowing with a warm, earthy tone. It's not the loudest player in the night sky, but its presence has a weight to it, like a
Somebody
friend
wants me to
who
come
doesn't
back
need
at
to say
7,
much to make an
2
impact.
hours.
On April
This is
12th,
last week.
as twilight wraps the world in calm, Mars steps into the evening, offering a chance to pause and feel something deeper stirring. This shift of Mars into the evening sky could feel like more than just a pretty sight. For some, it's a symbol of energy waking up. Think of it as a quiet spark, igniting your drive or courage in a gentle way. You might not feel it right away, but as you watch that reddish dot, it could plant a seed of determination, urging you to tackle something you've been putting off or to stand a little taller in your own life. There's a spiritual layer to this too, if you're inclined to see it that way. Mars has long been tied to action and strength in stories and traditions, and its appearance now might whisper to your soul about taking charge of your path. It's not about rushing or forcing things. It's more like a nudge to trust your instincts and move forward with purpose. On April 12th, that meaning might feel close, as if the planet's light is brushing against your thoughts. Picture yourself stepping outside that evening, maybe with a warm drink in hand, the air cool against your skin. Look west, where the horizon meets the fading daylight, and let Mars greet you. It's an easy thing to do, no fancy tools needed, just your curiosity and a moment to spare. The simplicity of it makes it special, a little ritual that connects you to the vastness of the universe without any fuss. Mars showing up like this can also stir a sense of wonder. It's a planet out there, millions of miles away, yet close enough to see with your own eyes. On April 12th, as dusk falls, it's a reminder of how big the world is and how you're part of it. That reddish glow might make you think about your place in things, not in a heavy way, but with a quiet awe that feels grounding. And there's a beauty in how Mars moves into the evening sky so unassumingly. It's not flashy or overwhelming, just there, steady and sure. That could feel
Do you have old pictures on your PC or smartphone? Then this video is for you. Nobody believed me at first, but now everybody.
Meaningful in its own right, like a lesson in showing up without needing to prove anything. On this night, it might inspire you to carry yourself with that same calm confidence, letting your presence speak for itself. So, on April 12th, make a little time as dusk falls. Head outside, face west, and find Mars in the evening sky. Let its quiet, meaningful arrival sink in. Whether it sparks a thought, a feeling, or just a moment of peace, it's a small gift from the cosmos. Watch it glow, and let it remind you of the strength and mystery woven into the everyday. On April 13th, 2025, set your alarm a little earlier than usual and step outside to greet the morning sky. As dawn begins to paint the horizon, you'll find Saturn taking center stage, a stunning sight for those willing to rise with the sun. This isn't just another sunrise. It's a moment where the planet's golden glow adds a touch of magic to the early hours, turning a regular morning into something unforgettable. Imagine the quiet of pre-dawn, the world still hushed, and there's Saturn shining steadily above. It's not a fleeting twinkle like a star, but a calm, radiant presence that feels almost regal against the soft blues and pinks of the waking sky. For early risers on April 13th, this is your reward, a chance to witness nature putting on a subtle yet breathtaking show right before the day kicks into gear. There's a special energy to this grand rise of Saturn. It's like the planet is stepping forward to greet you, offering a moment of stillness before the bustle begins. Some might feel a quiet strength in its glow, as if it's lending you a bit of its steady resolve. You could think of it as a gentle boost, a reminder to face the day with patience and purpose, no matter what's on your plate. This morning carries a deeper layer too, if you're open to it. Saturn's been linked to lessons and growth in stories across time. Think of it as a wise guide lighting up the sky. On April 13th, its place in the morning might feel like an invitation to reflect on where you're headed, what you've learned, or what you're ready to build. It's not loud or pushy, just a soft, glowing nudge to look inward for a moment. Picture yourself standing there, maybe with a warm blanket or a mug of coffee, as the first rays of sunlight mingle with Saturn's light. The beauty of the morning sky on this day isn't just in the colors or the planet itself, it's in how it all comes together, a perfect blend of calm and wonder. You don't need to be an astronomer to enjoy it. All it takes is a willingness to look up and let the scene sink in. Saturn's rise on April 13th also feels like a gift to those who cherish quiet moments. The world isn't fully awake yet, and that stillness makes the planet's presence stand out even more. It's a chance to breathe, to feel connected to something vast and ancient before the day pulls you into its rhythm. That alone can make the early wake-up worth it, a private slice of beauty shared between you and the sky. And there's a timeless quality to this sight. Saturn has been spinning out there for eons, and on this morning, you get to witness it in all its glory. It might spark a sense of awe, a little thrill at being part of something so much bigger than the everyday. On April 13th, that golden dot could remind you of life's slow, steady cycles, growth, change, and the beauty of simply being here. So, make a plan for April 13th. Rise early, find a spot with a clear view, maybe your yard, a park, or a hill, and let Saturn greet you. Watch it shine at the center of the morning and take in the beauty of the sky, waking up around it. Whether it stirs your spirit, calms your mind, or just makes you smile, it's a moment to savor. This grand rise is yours to enjoy, a quiet treasure in the early light.
When we touch here, maybe just try this, ladies and gentlemen. This, oh, that feels nice. Yeah, that's good. So just do that because it feels comfortable.
Okay, that's the end of it.
Time is running out.
So that's all about what's going on with the moon and stuff this coming week, I guess. So do we have enough for a show for tonight at 7? We'll go 2 hours. I might do a no, I don't know how many we get in, but I might do the big channel tonight with no show. And then tomorrow I'll be out late because tomorrow's payday, shopping day tomorrow. So it'll probably be 5 o'clock tomorrow. But I don't know. I'll see what channel I can. I want to get on the blue channel, but I don't know how many can get on the blue channel. So we'll just get everything set up for 7. And since I missed last week, I missed a few days last week. the market was really high, and this past 2 hours it's going down minus 470. So we'll come back at 7. I got a 45-minute Roseanne video. I think it's new. So have a good dinner, and we'll see you after dinner. And God bless everybody. Love all. You should like, subscribe, but I think we got enough to last to the finish line. So we'll see you soon.